You ever wake up and feel more tired than when you went to bed? Not just groggy, I mean a full-body heaviness, like your energy left in the night and forgot to come back. Your eyes open, the day begins, but your mind is already behind, dragging your body with it. That was my normal for longer than I care to admit, and for a while, I thought that was just adulthood. I tried everything. New mattress, blackout curtains, weighted blankets. I downloaded sleep apps that tracked my REM cycles like a stock market. I even bought one of those fancy teas that promised deep restoration in cursive on the box. Some nights I'd get 8 hours, other nights more. But every morning, the same thing, exhaustion. A tiredness that sleep wasn't touching. I started tweaking my routine like a broken machine. Caffeine cut off at 2 p.m. Phone out of the bedroom. No food after dinner. Meditation, journaling, melatonin. I did what the podcasts and articles told me to do. And still, I woke up feeling like someone had hit pause on my body, but never pressed reset. I didn't feel restored. I felt flat. What confused me most was that everything looked normal from the outside. I was going to bed on time. I wasn't waking up in the middle of the night. There were no nightmares, no restlessness, no tossing or turning. I was sleeping, technically, but something about it wasn't landing. I'd open my eyes and instantly crave more hours. More time, more escape. At some point, I stopped looking for new tricks. Not because I gave up, but because I started wondering if the issue wasn't with the sleep at all. Maybe the real problem was how I was arriving at sleep in the first place. Not what I did in the bedroom, but what I did before it. And that question quietly opened the door to everything that came next. I had spent so long trying to fix sleep that I never stopped to question what it really is. I thought sleep was like a button I could push. Follow the steps, hit the pillow, drift off. But it turns out, sleep isn't something you chase. It's something you enter. And how you enter it, mentally, physically, emotionally, matters more than I ever realized. It hit me one night while brushing my teeth, half distracted by a YouTube video I wasn't really watching. My brain was still in go mode. My body was tense. The lights were bright. And I was expecting rest to magically find me 10 minutes later. But why would it? I was dragging the entire weight of my day into bed and wondering why my energy never came back. That was the moment I saw it clearly. I didn't have a sleep problem. I had a transition problem. My body was never getting the signal that the day was over. There was no wind down, no soft landing, just constant input followed by sudden darkness. I was going from 100 to 0, like slamming the brakes on a freeway and calling that rest. Sleep is not just about what happens at night. It's about what leads into it. The quality of your energy tomorrow starts with the rhythm you protect tonight. That shift in thinking didn't fix everything overnight, but it gave me something I hadn't felt in a long time, a direction. And that changed everything. I didn't overhaul my entire life. I didn't throw out my routines or build a perfect evening checklist. I just started paying attention, noticing how noisy my nights had become, how little space I gave myself to slow down. The world outside was quiet, but inside I was still sprinting. And I knew that if I wanted real rest, I had to learn how to stop running. The first shift was internal. I stopped looking at sleep like a performance I had to perfect. Instead, I started asking a simple question each night. What would feel gentle right now? That one question changed my posture, my lighting, even the tone of my thoughts. It pulled me out of the mode of fixing and into something softer, something more human. I didn't try to force stillness. I created space for it to arrive. Some nights it looked like sitting quietly with a cup of tea. Other nights it was just turning the lights low and doing nothing. It wasn't about control. It was about rhythm. About remembering that energy doesn't start in the morning. It's preserved in the way you let go of the day before. That mindset became the ground for everything else. Before I found habits that helped, I had to unlearn the pressure to always be productive. I had to make peace with slowness. Because sleep, real sleep, the kind that gives energy back, doesn't come from effort. It comes from surrender. And that began long before my head hit the pillow. The first habit I changed was simple, but it hit deeper than I expected. I stopped using my phone as the bookends of my day. No checking messages first thing. No scrolling before bed. That alone felt radical, like I was unplugging from a current I hadn't realized I was wired into. At first, I felt a weird emptiness in those moments. But that emptiness quickly turned into space. I used to wake up and go straight to my screen. Emails, notifications, news before my body had even fully joined the day. And at night, the same thing in reverse. I'd wind down with overstimulation, lying to myself that I was relaxing while flipping through noise. What I didn't realize was how deeply that habit was hijacking my nervous system, fueling anxiety, suppressing rest. Phones are designed to grab your attention and activate your brain. But rest doesn't come when your brain thinks it's in a crisis. It comes when it feels safe. And for me, screen time right before or after sleep was like starting and ending each day with a jolt of chaos. I was trying to find calm in the same place that was constantly taking it away from me. So I replaced those moments with something quieter. In the morning, I just sit by the window for a few minutes. Let light hit my face. Let thoughts arrive slowly. At night, I'd reach for a book or just lie there, letting the stillness speak. No hacks, no rules. Just a boundary between me and the world. And in that quiet, my energy finally had room to return. There was a time when I'd wake up and immediately feel behind. I hadn't even stood up yet, and already my body felt late. My mind would race to the to-do list before I even took a breath. And for years, I thought I needed to power through that feeling. More coffee, more urgency. But what I really needed was motion. Not fast, not intense, just movement that said, "You're here now." So I started small. Some mornings I'd stretch in silence while the kettle boiled. Other days, I'd go outside and walk without a destination. No headphones, no plan. Just movement for the sake of waking myself up gently. And over time, that practice started rewiring something deeper. It told my body we were safe. We weren't bracing. We weren't rushing. We were arriving. There's something powerful about giving your body the first word in the morning. Before you think. Before you check. Before you scroll. Just breath and motion and space. It doesn't have to be a workout. It doesn't even have to look like exercise. It's about reconnecting to the rhythm your body already knows, one that begins with presence, not productivity. That one shift changed everything for me. My mornings went from frantic to grounded. My mind stopped dragging behind my body. And instead of waiting for energy to arrive like a late bus, I started generating it. Slowly, intentionally, one quiet step at a time. Movement didn't just help me wake up. It gave me back the sense that the day was something I could meet instead of survive. This habit might sound small, but it changed my mornings more than anything else. I started letting light hit my eyes before I let noise hit my brain. No screens, no headlines, no notifications. Just light, natural, quiet, and old. I'd stand by the window or step outside, not for productivity, but for presence. And in that moment, something shifted in me. Something I didn't know was missing. What I learned later made it all make sense. Your brain doesn't know what time it is. It knows what light tells it. And when you give it natural light, especially in the first 30 minutes after waking, you're setting your internal clock. You're saying it's day now. Let's begin. Cortisol rises in a good way. Melatonin fades. And your energy starts aligning with the rhythm you were meant to follow. Before I made this change, I was waking up inside the noise. Phone screen. Bad news. Group chats already buzzing. I wasn't entering the day. I was reacting to it. And that reaction was costing me my clarity. My body was technically awake, but my system was confused. I wasn't giving it the cues it needed to function well. I was just throwing it into chaos and hoping it would adapt. Now, light is my first language in the morning. Sometimes it's cloudy. Sometimes I don't leave the house. But I still find the light, even through a window. I sit with it. Let it touch my skin. And for those few minutes, the world doesn't ask anything of me. It's just me and the day, meeting slowly, on purpose. And in that space, my energy doesn't rush. It returns. It didn't happen overnight. There was no dramatic before and after, no moment where I suddenly felt unstoppable. But one morning, I noticed something small. I opened my eyes and didn't feel dread. I didn't need to bargain with the alarm or drag myself out of bed like a weight. I just got up, calmly, and I realized, for the first time in a long time, I felt ready. The fog that used to follow me into the kitchen wasn't there. I didn't need 2 cups of coffee to feel like myself. My thoughts were clearer, my breath slower, and the pressure I used to carry in my chest wasn't as loud. This wasn't just about feeling rested. It was about feeling available to the day again, like I was meeting life on equal ground instead of crawling behind it. What surprised me most was how natural it started to feel. I wasn't chasing a new version of myself. I was remembering an older one, a version that didn't always need to push through, a version that could move slowly and still be effective. The energy I got back wasn't loud or manic. It was steady, grounded, the kind that lasts longer than adrenaline ever could. And the more I noticed it, the more I trusted it. That feeling of being awake without resistance, of being present without effort. It didn't come from supplements or strategies. It came from rhythm, from giving my body what it had been asking for all along. And once I felt that kind of energy, I didn't want to live any other way. For a long time, I thought there was something wrong with me. Everyone else seemed to function fine. They got up, went to work, drank their coffee, pushed through. I figured I just wasn't built like them. Maybe I was lazy. Maybe I wasn't a morning person. Maybe I just wasn't trying hard enough. That narrative stuck with me and quietly shaped how I saw myself. But the truth is, I wasn't broken. I was out of rhythm. My body wasn't failing. It was responding to a world that never slows down. A world that celebrates exhaustion, rewards overwork, and calls it discipline. No one teaches us how to rest. We're taught how to perform, how to push, how to pretend we're fine. And when that stops working, we blame ourselves. What I learned is that energy isn't just about output. It's about alignment. About listening when your body whispers, not just when it screams. Fatigue isn't a flaw. It's a signal. And the more I listened to that signal, the more things started to soften. Not just my mornings, but how I treated myself in all the hours in between. I stopped fighting for energy. I started protecting it. If you've been waking up tired and blaming yourself for it, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not lazy. You're not weak. You're not broken. You're likely just disconnected. And reconnecting isn't about doing more. It's about choosing less noise, more rhythm, and giving yourself the same grace you offer everyone else. You don't need to overhaul your life tonight. You don't need to master a new system or become a morning person by next week. What helped me most wasn't a big change. It was one small habit at a time, one quiet choice in the evening, one breath before bed, one moment of stillness instead of another scroll. That's where rhythm begins, in the tiny spaces we usually rush through. This isn't about chasing the perfect morning. It's about giving yourself a better ending to your day, a softer one, a slower one that tells your body it is safe now, it can let go, it can rest. You don't need to earn your rest through exhaustion. You are allowed to feel tired and still treat yourself with care. That permission alone can change everything. So if you've been waking up feeling empty, give yourself the chance to end the day differently. Not forever. Just tonight. Try one habit. Make one moment quiet. Let your body remember what rhythm feels like. Not productivity, not optimization, just rhythm. You might be surprised how quickly your energy starts to return when you stop pushing it away. And if this helped even a little, maybe let it stay with you. Not as another rule to follow, but as a reminder. A reminder that your body already knows how to rest. It just needs the noise to settle so it can finally be heard. Start there. You don't have to do it all. You just have to begin.